Hi everybody, welcome back to the Biztech Academy. Steve here, and today I'm going to look at something a little bit different. Today I'm going to look at the fascinating world of the psychology of investing. Have you ever wondered why we make the choices we do when we decide to invest? Why do we buy a stock at a certain point in time? Why do we hold instead of sell, or why do we sell instead of hold? And why do we sometimes dollar cost average even though the price of the equity is going down? It's not just about the fundamentals and the technical charts, it's also about what goes on in our mind and how we interpret and control this. Imagine you're at a crossroads with multiple paths, each a different investment decision, each with potentially a very different outcome. Some paths look safe but maybe less rewarding, others are risky yet potentially more lucrative. How do you decide which is the right path for you to take? Well, this is where understanding your own psychology, your fears, your desires, and your behavior patterns becomes crucial. In this video, I'm going to look at how emotions, biases, and cognitive patterns can influence investment decisions. And I'm also going to consider how being in control of those psychological aspects helps an investor evolve over time and make more objective investment decisions and ultimately be in more control of their financial future. I'll also introduce you into an interactive quiz, or more accurately, a questionnaire, will help you determine your own investment personality and give you insights into how you make investment decisions. I'll also give you access to an investment decision-making checklist, a simple tool that allows you to put a structure around your investment decisions and make sure that when you go through that investment decision-making process, you're doing it in an objective and not an emotional way. Before I jump in, though, I must say, as always, that none of what I say today is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and everything I say today is purely my opinion. And of course, if you do like this video and you want me to continue doing tutorial videos of this nature, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Just press the little watermark in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Any support you can give us is greatly appreciated. Okay, let's get on with it. Okay, so what is investor psychology? Well, in simple terms, it's an examination of how we as individual investors react to certain factors every time we're faced with an investment decision. And it's important to remember that investor psychology is not a one-size-fits-all science. Each investor will react in a different way for the same investment decision based on their own personal situation. And to that end, at the core of investor psychology, there lies a single simple truth. Our decisions are influenced by more than just facts and figures. They are also shaped by our emotions, our biases, our personal experiences, and even our upbringing. Think of the last time you made an investment decision. What influenced you? Was it hard facts and data, or was it a little bit of gut feel? Maybe it was a tip from a friend, or maybe it was an article you read in one of the financial journals. And investor psychology delves into these types of questions. It tries to look at the subconscious factors that drive investment decisions and try and make sense of why two people react in a different way based on the same set of data. And this field encompasses a range of behaviors, from overconfidence that leads us to take unnecessary risks, to fear that causes us to sell assets at the first hint of trouble, and even what I see as the worst behavior, herd mentality that drives us to act like lemmings and follow popular trends or opinions, often without questioning. But why does this matter? Well, understanding these psychological forces can be empowering. By understanding the rationale behind your behavior when you make investment decisions, you can control that behavior and therefore make more objective decisions. And by being more objective, you're going to make better financial decisions for your future. And that can't be a bad thing. In this chapter, I'm going to take a step back in time and I'm going to try and learn a little from history. By looking at previous investment mistakes, we can gain insights to make smarter investment decisions in the future. Consider the dot-com bubble in the late 1990s. Investors are swept up in the excitement of the new internet era and poured money into any company with .com in its name, often without regard to fundamental business values. What happened next? The bubble burst, and many of these companies lacking solid business plans collapsed, leading to significant financial losses for investors. The lesson? Well, it's simple. Don't get carried away by the hype and try and look beneath the surface. Look at the fundamentals of the asset you're looking at investing in and try and make sure that it has solid credentials. If you look at a second example and fast forward to the 2008 financial crisis, this was a different kind of lesson in risk and diversification. Many investors put too much into housing and financial sector stocks, thinking they were safe bets. When the crisis hit, it hit these sectors the hardest, with a number of housing repossessions in the US breaking all-time records. Investors who diversified their portfolios across multiple sectors better protected themselves from severe losses. And the lesson here is very simple. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. So let's bring these lessons to the current context. How can we use these insights to make better investment decisions ourselves? Well, do your homework. Understand the business you're thinking about investing in. Don't just listen to someone else's opinion. Do your own research. Secondly, diversify your portfolio. Spread your investments across different sectors, across different asset classes, and even across different geographies. The more you spread the risk, the less likely you're going to be hit by severe losses from one single event. Thirdly, think long term. Try to avoid making investment decisions based on short term market trends. Try and have a long term goal and base your strategy, your investment strategy, on that long term goal. And finally, learn to manage your emotions. Don't let fear and greed take over your investment decision making process. Try and stay calm and collected, especially through market volatility. By keeping these principles in mind, you can learn from the past and become more predictable in the outcome of your investment decisions. But how do we do this? Well, the first thing to do is to understand your own investment psychology, and that's what I'm going to go through now. In this chapter, I'm going to walk you through a quiz, or more accurately, a questionnaire, will help you determine your own investment psychology or your own investment style. And then after that, I'm going to show you through a structured approach, a structured checklist that you can use as you go through each difficult investment decision to ensure that you are being objective, you are controlling your emotions, and you're making the best decision for you at that point in time. And in this questionnaire, each question is designed to try and reveal something about your investment style and your investment psychology. But don't worry, there's only 5 questions. And also remember, there's no wrong and right answer here. It's not a test. You don't get a prize if you get 5 answers correct. What's more important is that you're honest with yourself. And if you're unsure about any of the answers, I recommend that you go with the first thought that came into your mind. I also recommend that you pause the video after each of the 5 questions and just jot down your answer. It'll be A, B, C, or D. Okay, so let's start with question 1. And question 1 is as follows. The stock market experiences a sudden drop. Do you A, sell some stocks to cut losses? B, hold on to your investment and wait? C, invest more to take advantage of lower prices? Or D, consult with a financial advisor before acting? On to question 2. You come across a new investment that's generating a lot of buzz. Do you A, invest immediately to catch the wave? B, conduct thorough research before investing? C, wait to see how it performs before deciding? Or D, ignore it, preferring to stick with familiar investments? Question 3. When planning your investments, what's your primary focus? Is it A, maximizing returns no matter the risk? B, minimizing risk even if returns are lower? C, balancing risk and return? Or D, following advice from financial experts? Question 4. How do you react to news of a financial downturn? Do you A, feel anxious and consider selling your investments? B, remain calm and view it as a normal market cycle? C, see it as an opportunity to buy more? Or D, immediately seek advice from financial sources? And 5, when it comes to investment advice, you A, primarily rely on your own judgment? B, often follow tips from friends or family? C, regularly consult financial news and experts? Or D, tend to go with your gut feeling? If you chose predominantly option A, you might be acting on emotion. If you chose mainly B, then you're more cautious and you like to play it safe. If you chose C in the main, then you're being more analytical in your approach. And if you chose D, then you're more likely to defer an investment decision to a financially qualified expert. Not rocket science, I know, but your answers will reveal if you're a risk taker, A, if you're a cautious investor, B, if you're an analytical investor, C, or more likely to be a passive investor with D. And of course, if you've got a mixture of all the letters, then you've probably got some balance in the way you approach investment decisions. And understanding your own investment style or your investment psychology is vital. It allows you to tailor your own investment strategies to match your risk tolerant levels and your financial goals. Try and do that now. Try and put yourself in one of those buckets. Are you A, a risk taker, B, a cautious investor, C, an analytical investor, or D, a passive investor? Or are you balanced? Do you match into more than one of those categories? And is the answer to the questionnaire delivered the same answer you would have given yourself before you saw this video? In many cases, that's not the case, but that doesn't matter because investment strategy and investment styles evolve over time. The important thing is to acknowledge where you are today and where you want to be, and then start changing your behavior so that they're aligned. Okay, so now let's take what we've learned about your own investment psychology and turn this into a practical tool that allows you to make informed investment decisions. This checklist is your personal guide to making more smart, informed investment decisions, and I recommend that you use this checklist every time you're faced with an investment decision. The idea of using this, it allows you to take time out, reflect on the decision itself, and make sure that you're considering all factors before you jump in and make that pledge. Whether you're a seasoned investor or you're just starting out, using a structured approach and a checklist like this allows you to ensure that the financial decision you're just about to make is aligned with your own personal financial goals and your risk tolerance. I'll now walk through each checklist item individually, and remember, this checklist will be used to validate each investment decision you face. Okay, number one, does the particular investment match your own investment goals, i.e. short-term gain, long-term gain, or generation of income? Depending on what your investment goals are, make sure that the decision you're about to make is aligned with those goals. So for example, if your goal is long-term growth, then don't consider short-dated options. Okay, number two, does this investment match your personal risk profile and tolerance? Are you comfortable with the potential ups and downs from this particular decision? So, for example, if your risk tolerance is low, then you're considering a small cap, high volatile stock, then maybe it's not the right decision for you. So, look at the historical trends from the asset you're about to purchase or about to sell and make sure that that reconciles with your risk tolerance levels. Number three, have you done enough of your own research on the investment? Look behind the hype and understand the fundamentals. Don't just listen to the most vocal person on the Telegram channel for that particular asset. Do your own research and make sure that you understand enough about that particular investment decision to feel comfortable with the decision itself. And linked to number three is number four. Is your decision being influenced by emotional biases like fear or greed, or are you making your decision based on objective facts? Strive for a rational and balanced approach. If the decision you're about to make is not based on facts, then do some more research, investigate more, and make sure you've got detailed and comprehensive facts that back up that particular decision. Number five, have you considered wider market trends and conditions, and does this investment fit positively to the current landscape? Be aware of broader economic and market trends. So, for example, is inflation going up or coming down? And if it's going up, there's a likelihood that interest rates may rise. And if that's the case, then if you're considering something like going into the housing sector, that might not be a good thing because if interest rates go up, the housing sector tends to decrease in value. Number six, does the investment add to the diversity of your portfolio? Will the investment diversify your portfolio, or is it adding unnecessary risk by just doubling up in sectors that you're already overexposed in? Basically, don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you already own 5 lithium stocks, do you really need a sixth? If you're already long the dollar against the euro, do you really need to go long the dollar against the pound? Because really, it's the same trade. And finally, do you need professional advice? And of course, by that, I mean investment advice. Only you know if you need this particular advice, but don't hesitate to do this if you do feel the need, especially for a large investment. There's no shame in it. By asking advice and learning from others, we learn ourselves. If you apply this checklist to each major investment decision you face, and you're honest with your answers, and you act in line with those answers, then you will ultimately make more objective and informed investment decisions, and you should get better results from those decisions that you make. And also remember to use this checklist for your whole portfolio on a regular basis. Economies change, markets change, companies change. Make sure that your portfolio is aligned with your own financial goals on a regular basis to avoid surprises. This investor decision-making checklist is not just a series of steps, it's a change in mindset. And by changing your mindset in line with this, you'll become a more disciplined and a more thoughtful and hopefully a more successful investor. Remember, successful investing is not just about making the right choices, it's also about avoiding the wrong ones. And by using a structured approach to a checklist like this, you should have more of a chance of making those correct decisions. If it's of any help, I've added a link in the description to an Excel spreadsheet just detailing these 7 items on the checklist. Use it as you need to. It's only very basic. You might want to cut and paste it and put it into a different format if you feel the need. Okay, so I've almost come to the end of this video, but let's just take a step back and reflect on what's been considered. So firstly, I looked at the basis of investment decisions as not just the fundamentals of the particular asset or the technical charts, but also our own emotions and how those emotions can influence the decisions we make. I've explained how cognitive biases and emotions such as overconfidence, fear, greed, herd mentality, and the like can lead us astray and cloud our judgment as we make investment decisions. I've also looked at lessons from history. We looked at the dot-com era. We looked at the 2008 financial crisis. And I also introduced you to a questionnaire that allows you to determine your own investment psychology. And finally, I introduced you to the investment decision-making checklist, a tool that can be used for all of your investment decisions to ensure that when you do make those decisions, they're ultimately made in an objective manner and not based on subjective facts or emotion. And so that all that's left to say is to remember that making investment decisions is as much about understanding yourself as it is about understanding the markets. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it useful. As I said before, if you want me to continue doing tutorial type videos like this, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. But in the meantime, thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.